All right. Thank you, Robbie. Nice job, buddy. Nice job. Hello and welcome. Those of you who are students in my classes, you know I talk very low. So you might have to lean in a little bit from time to time to hear me. I hope you don't mind. This is about the least animated you will see me, I assure you. And especially by the end of this, I'll get pretty fired up. I hope you do too. Load up on the pizza, load up on the wings, it's on me, so have at it for sure. Sit back, relax, but please, please, and I mean this sincerely, learn. I want you to learn from this. To me, what I'm about to share with you is the single most important set of information, tips, tricks, and a prescription for a successful professional life. Welcome. There's a couple seats up front. It is an ideology and methodology that I have formed over the last 25 years. I know it works. I have proof points all around the world. Early career professionals, mid-career, late career. I know what success looks like. I've documented it, and now I share it with you. The ideology itself, known affectionately as the 5 attributes, I developed professionally 25 years. It goes back to a very simple origin story. The origin story of Al, as I call it. So, what I'd like you to understand are a few different things as we get into this. My intent for you is to go forward and be the next great transformative business leaders. I have no other goal. I left Dell Technologies 96 days ago. I led Global Complex Programs, which is a boutique consulting firm inside of Dell. My portfolio was $16.5 billion. It included such organizations as Wells Fargo, FedEx, SoftBank, Oracle, X.AI, and CoreWeave, just to name a few. The single most ambitious customers and the largest in dollar value in the 40-year history of Dell. That is all the brown hair on top. But it taught me a few things. One, that if you can deliver for a client, they will come back for more. One, and a lot more. But two, it's driven by people. See, for all the technology that we talk about, and you probably are familiar with especially X as an example, the largest data center and Gen AI cluster in the world, Memphis, the data center is called Colossus. You may have read about it. For all of that technology, it's about the people. Everything we talk about, AI this, cloud that, this, that, it's all about the people. You see, because what I have found is if I enable, supercharge, strengthen, energize, cultivate, mentor people, they will do extraordinary things. Beyond anything that technology will do. Then, if you supercharge them with technology, first today, generative AI. Tomorrow, it's going to be agentic AI. After that, who knows? That'll be for you to decide. Good, bad, right, wrong, progress this way, make a left, make a right. So it is incumbent upon me to make sure that you, when you go outside the four walls of this fine institution, you are ready to take the reins. Let me throw a quick stat at you real quick before we get into the agenda. The youngest baby boomer in the workforce today, the youngest baby boomer in the workforce today is 61 years old. The youngest. Yet, they hang on to leadership roles in every facet of industry and government. And older, for that matter, right? Well, wait a second. Where does that leave room for you, the next generation of great leader? If I don't want to let go of power, and the generation before me doesn't want to let go of power, hey, it's cool. There's a lot of money. You get to have people do whatever the hell you want them to do. But if we don't let go of it, what happens to you? Look at the stat. My students, you know, we did a study in a business case on an article, a Stanford and MIT study about graduates from higher institution years 2022 to 2025. The unemployment rate in every other demographic has gone down in that time period except for one. Now, the hypothesis would be generative AI, the advent of ChatGPT and everything that has come after it. You could make a case for that. I also argued in augmentation of that the previous generations see you as a threat, see you as a pain in the neck. You don't have to go far. You could say, Al, maybe you're a little jaded. Maybe I am. You don't have to go far. You don't have to go far. Do one very simple search on what my generation, the generations before me, think of you. Fat, dumb, entitled, lippy, too smart for their own good, too soft, too easy, too entitled, too this, too that. Yeah? Yeah. I say they're wrong. I say they're wrong. I think it's the opposite. I think you're like no other generation before. That you have a capacity to learn, grow, change, transform like nobody else before them. Nobody. Look at you. The agility of you, the diversity of you, the capability of you. That seems pretty scary if it's not you, and you're looking out at you. Wow, they're going to replace me. To me, if I supercharge you, you will make the world a better place. Whether that means saving the whales, or that means being a titan of business, or that means being the next great entrepreneur, transformational technology, whatever that is. But we've got to give you a chance. If we don't do that, we've completely failed you. We might as well pack it all in. That's why we're here today. 2 minutes on me. Just so you know. So I left as a global leader of Dell Technologies. It's no secret there whatsoever. I left there with the #1 team in the entire $107 billion organization. The most awarded team in the history of the company. Where's Andrew at? Is the consulting president here? You met Yasmin Ramirez, right? I hired Yasmin before I left here. She got her master's degree here in analytics, by the way. I hired her to come here, to come to Dell. Part of that cross-generational, 11-time award-winning team. Second place team, 4. Not even close. Beyond world class. You could do a perceptic survey like the Enterprise Survey Company that surveys organizations around the world of similar size. My team is labeled as beyond world class. There is nothing else like it on the planet. I left. A lot of people were stunned. I didn't leave because I wanted to. Yasmin came by to say hello. I got a nice text message from my buddy Nabil Alarbi. Zishan sent me pictures today. Here's everybody doing stuff. We're going to go have lunch on Friday. I miss them horribly. I love them. But I had to leave. I had to leave. People still don't even understand it. I do. If you're a student of mine, you do too. My goal is by the end of the time we're here together, you'll get it too. And you'll tell others. I didn't want to leave. I had to. Sounds like a pretty good deal. I don't know, this is pretty awesome. How I started? How I started? When I left school, I paid for every dime myself. I worked full-time all through school. It was a complete and utter pain in the neck. I hated it. My first job out of school, digging trenches in basements. I waterproofed crawl spaces. Jackhammers, picks, shovels, cement. 50 pounds at a time in a 4-foot crawl space. People wonder why I always wear long sleeves. It's because I have burns from the jackhammer in crawl spaces up on my arms. I did that for a year or two. That was not fun. I went and started my own. Did my own thing. If anybody's familiar, in the Philadelphia area, right across the street from the King of Prussia Mall, was my office. It was the coolest thing in the world. Until I actually had to make money and make payroll. That entrepreneurial spirit was tested. So, I was in the basement waterproofing and foundation repair business out of school. Super great. Next, I started to get into technology and professional assessment. Any of you who are going to take the CPA exam, or anybody here who will take the Project Management Institute exam, the PMP. That was the business I was in. Insurance, real estate, healthcare consulting. Did that for a while. Whatever. Started to learn, started to understand that methodology. 1, 2. Left there, went into technology consulting, a Microsoft practice. Didn't know anything about technology then. Did that. Awesome. Super great. Left that. Went into healthcare consulting. Nothing to do with anything. Building and putting equipment in hospitals. Technology consultant, Dell leadership. Now, you may say to yourself, Al, that is a very, very crooked line. And you would be right. But here's the common thread. I just want to help people. The tool went from a jackhammer to a laptop to an MRI and a tape measure to a giant Gen AI server that'll suck all the power out of this room and more. That's the thread. I want to help. That's my backstory. That's Zig Ziglar. Greatest salesperson of all time. Here's the thing. That journey was hard. Real hard. Nasty hard. When a single mom looks you in the eye and says, hey, Al, my check didn't arrive in the mail today. And I say, oh, it must have got lost. I'll write you a new one on Monday. Hoping we would write a deal on Saturday that I could cash the deposit and deliver it then on Monday into the bank. Those were the kind of challenges. But those were the ones that forged me to bring us here today. The obstacle is the way. Overcome the obstacle, and you have found what it is that you want and what you need. I didn't say it was easy. I say that's the way. Stay with me. When I was 8 years old, my dad, anybody ever do like take your daughter, take your son to work day? Like your dad or your mom takes you to the office and you go and you get to run around the hallways and they're like, who is that? And this is great. My dad did that for me one time when I was 8 years old. Here's the interesting part. My dad worked for PennDOT, the Department of Transportation, for 40 years. He was a ditch digger. My mom, child of the Depression, dropped out of school in 9th grade. I could still never win an argument with her. I'm like, how can this be? My dad took me to work one day. They were building a road. Driving in the back of a 76 Chevy Malibu, my dad, who smoked 3 packs of Kent cigarettes a day with the windows up because it was chilly. But they were menthol, so I felt like I was like it was like a healthy kind of a thing. Dusty work boots, dirt, mud, shovels, hammers in the trunk. Here's where I work, Al. Scary and cool at the same time. He introduced me to a bunch of people with whom he worked. And it was a story that I had seen and heard repeated again when we went to the moon and the custodian talking to John F. Kennedy about helping launching the rocket. I met the first guy. I said, what do you do here? And he said, I'm the one who straightens out all the guardrails to cuts them. Great, that's cool. Second guy, what do you do? He said, I pour the macadam. The third guy says, I put the lines down. I said to my dad, so what do you do? As he had like a shovel in his hand and a hard hat on. He said, I build roads. I build roads so people can get from point A to point B. So that I can make it on time to your baseball game. So that people can get to the grocery store and buy food for their families. So that expectant mother can drive comfortably and safely in the ambulance to go start or continue her family. That's what I do. The ditch digger. That's what he does. I said, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. He said, here. And he laid out, I work alone, but with others. We have to in order to make the road work. We have to solve a ton of different problems that would happen in trying to build a road. We've got to be able to communicate with each other in a variety of different ways. Like flags, walkie-talkies, spinning the sign, slow, stop, really stop. And it's got to be done in time, it's got to be done with cost, and it's got to be done with quality if we're going to do this right. Like, wow, man, that sounds awesome. And then he said, go into the trunk and get my boots. Fast forward 20 years later. I started to see a pattern form during that career progression that I told you about. And I boiled it down over time into these 5 attributes that were successful for a construction worker, that are successful for an IT consultant, a waterproofer, healthcare guy, anybody. And I saw the pattern repeat again and again and again. Not only did I see those people start to succeed as an early career professional myself, I started to adopt what they were doing. I mimicked them. What I noticed is once I started following those 5 attributes, opportunities started coming my way, growth started coming my way, I started to fit in the organizations, people would trust me, I built credibility, my career skyrocketed. So then I thought, if I see other people doing it, whether they even think that or not, and I can do it, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, that's for sure, I wonder if I could teach other people, or I wonder if they're already out there. And they are. See, because if you have the DNA in you, I can teach it. And if you've already got it and you're already showing it, you can grow it. I will explain. The first attribute is known as a soloist. Now, you may think a soloist means like somebody who just works alone, right? You work by yourself, you work solo. No, it's not. It's what I had to learn myself. A soloist is a person who has the ability to own a piece of work. Now remember, we're talking in the context of business. That ability to own that piece of work, I mean own it, accountable, responsible. The person who drives it to success. That is a soloist. Think about it this way. Let me know my audience for a second. Everybody in here takes exams, I'm assuming, right? You have tests or whatever you take. You ever have a study group, like the night before, everybody sort of meets in the library or somewhere, and there's 5, 6, 10 people all sort of working together, right, on studying for the exam. Exam day comes. Where's everybody else? They're not there. It's you. It's you and that laptop. It's you and that pencil and that piece of paper. Alone. Solo. You own it. If you can master in business the ability to own a piece of work, a project, a task, a work stream, whatever that is, an initiative, people love that. I don't mean tell me what I should do. I mean here's what I'm gonna do. Then go execute on it. And then if there's a problem, an issue, a question, a risk, an issue that pops up, you can ask informed questions about it. That's a soloist. Number 1. So then second, I guess, right, if there's a soloist, you probably have to be able to work in a team environment of some sort. And that's true. Team player. But it's not just a team player working with others to be successful and collaborating and all that. That's all great. It's a team player in a dynamic environment with a dynamic role. What do I mean by that? Your role outside the 4 walls of this fine institution can change, morph, grow, even throughout the day, the week, a project or an initiative you're working on. In 1 minute, you might be the subject matter expert. In another minute, you might be the note taker. In another minute, you might be going to get coffee. But the point is you have the ability to morph, move, and change in the context of the team while you grow your expertise. That is a team player in a dynamic environment. 2. 3, this is the AI one, for those of you keeping score. The ability to solve complex business problems using intellectual curiosity and critical thinking. The ability to ask questions, not know the answers, but the ability to ask the questions. What if? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Why are we doing this? How do we do it today? Why is this important? What if we? Critical thinking is the asking of those questions and making the decision. Intellectual curiosity is, why are we doing this in the first place? See, that's the thing, the element, the human factor that AI is nothing but a tool for you. And see, here's the thing. Especially early in your career, you have what my colleague Bridget says, carte blanche to ask questions. Why? Because you don't know anything. Doesn't matter how smart you are. People recognize, like, hey, you haven't really been around a lot, so maybe you don't know. So you can ask a variety of questions. But the whole idea is that you get smarter with every single answer. Then, if you can contribute to solving a complex business problem, people pay their weight in gold for that. No AI tool is going to do. It'll support you. It's not going to do it for you. Because all the messy, the human, the politics, the relationships, all of that gets mixed in. No AI tool understands. You do. So if you bring that intellectual curiosity and you bring that critical thinking supercharged by some AI tool at your disposal, wow, what a combo. The greatest tag team in history. Unbounded energy, incredible curiosity, coupled with lightning fast, powerful technology. Wow. Now, all that said and done, what I noticed from day one, remember I told you about the construction piece? I would watch my dad and his colleagues, right? Like how they would communicate with each other. With the 2 flags, with the survey thing, with the walkie-talkies, with the signs, with drawings on the macadam. It was fascinating to me. They weren't speaking a word to each other. Yet they were communicating unbelievably well. I thought about that. And I saw the pattern emerge again about communication. So, it's one thing to be able to talk to people. That's the least skill among human skill. The greatest is the ability to listen. The universe, the higher power, the good Lord, whomever, through some way, shape, or form gave us 2 ears and gave us 1 mouth. Why, Derek? Why? Because why? They don't have, you don't have the mic. I do. That means you need to listen twice as much as you talk. Yes. Next one. But how? 2 ways in business. 2 ways. You listen more than you talk, and you do that in 2 ways when you communicate. The first way is called omni-mode communication. The ability to communicate in a variety of different ways well beyond just talking to each other. There's Word, there's PowerPoint, there's Excel, there's text, there's chat, there's email, there's social media, there's on the phone, there's face-to-face. You're buried in it, unlike any generation before you. The ability to communicate multi or omni-mode, many modes. The second is omni-channel. Omni-channel is the ability to talk to people at a very high level, C-level, senior level people. Low level, like in the weeds, kind of. Very technical, and I don't necessarily mean computer technical, I mean like discipline technical. And the not so technical, people you're going to have to like really explain it to for them to get it. If you can do that omni-mode, deliver the type of communication in an omni-channel way so that people can consume it, it is worth its weight in gold to people, especially in today's global environment. Make sense? You with me so far? Are you with me so far? Love it. I want you to think about something. If I take some 5,000 row, 5,000 column, 50 tab spreadsheet to the CFO of some giant organization, enterprise, and I say, take a look at the formula, and they're going to throw me out before I get the sentence out. They're going to say, go talk to the accounting or the finance manager. Makes perfect sense. What they're going to want and need is 2, 3, 4 slides. Tell me the problem statement. What's the current state? Where do we want to go? What decisioning do I need to make? Got it. I'm going to deliver a few slides to you. It's that. Likewise, if we're talking about something that you have no idea about, I've got to go meet you where you are and bring you along. I used to see it all when my dad was building the road. They would say, they'd have the new guy come on. Well, I can't spend 8 hours trying to onboard you about how we're building the road. You have like 15 minutes. So we're going to draw it on the ground. We're going to explain what we need to get done, when we need to get done, how we need to get done. Any questions, come back and see me. Done. I've seen that repeat itself 5,000 times over the last several decades. Just different businesses and industries, how we do it. This is Lori Robinson, one of the greatest salespeople of all time from Salesforce. People used to ask her, like, what's the special sauce for how you could do like a few $1 billion a year, year after year after year? Her answer was pretty simple. I just listen. People tell you what the answer is. It's amazing. You enable them more when you ask them those questions. People will tell you the answer. That's attribute number 4, omni-mode, omni-channel communication. Yeah, grit. Number 5 is grit and determination to get stuff done. If you ask Larry Page is the founder of Google, if you ask him what's the number 1 item, element, resume that you want from someone who would have joined Google, you would have never gotten the G out. He would say grit and determination. Steve Jobs called it resilience. Angela Duckworth from the University of Penn coined the term grit. It was the one thing that separated students from each other, was grit, determination, resilience. My dad and I get in the truck. We drive up. There's a bump in the road that has to get paved. So I'm not thinking anything of it. He's like, they're right behind us. to come pave. We can't stop now. We're going to lose daylight. We're going to lose the weekend, et cetera, et cetera. So what are we going to do? He said, well, I have to see what the bump is. Gets out. It's a rock in the middle of what would be the road. He goes, gets the shovel, puts the shovel in the ground, goes to lift the rock, snap. Shovel snaps in two. I'm just sitting in the truck. He says, well, I'm on the walkie-talkie, or he's on the walkie-talkie, and he says, hey, we've got a problem here. And they're like, well, we got to go. Get the rock out of there. Goes into the back, grabs a pick, and starts whacking at the base of the rock. Now, granted, my dad had forearms that were bigger than my legs. The most unbelievable sound, I can still hear it decades later, that bang, bang, bang. He kept hitting this thing again and again and again and again. Hard hat flying, cigarette hanging out, and that noise. But he didn't stop. I thought, why don't you just quit? It's a rock. Get somebody else to do it. He just kept hitting it. And then it made a different sound. He put the pick under it, cranked it, and the rock moved. And he did it again and again and again until the rock was on the shoulder. Came by, they paved it. I thought, this is crazy. It's grit. It's you. Something has to get done. You pull an all-nighter. You have to get something done that's important to you. You get it done. Personal, professional, doesn't matter. Academic. Grit is getting stuff done in terms of time, like on time, cost, on budget, quality, it's good. Those are the 5 basic attributes of a great professional. I could teach that to you tomorrow, and you would be a superstar out there. I've proven it hundreds of times. That's why I know. Like, I say it to you with 100% assurance. If you have the DNA in you already to be that, you will write your own ticket in this business world, regardless of the technology out there. Everybody talks about AI, this, that, and the other. AI is a hammer. You can use it to hit somebody on the head. You could use it to build a house. The choice will be yours, not mine. It'll be yours. Now, there are 2 little hitchhikers here that go hand in hand with those 5 attributes of brilliant soloist, team player in a dynamic environment, the ability to solve complex business problems with intellectual curiosity and critical thinking, omni-mode, omni-channel communication, and grit and determination to get stuff done in terms of time, cost, and quality. Those are the 5. 2 hitchhikers. One is called emotional intelligence, or EQ, the cool kids call it. This is the guy who came up with the concept, Goldman. All it is, as easy and as hard, is the ability to meet people where they are, to understand the surroundings that you have, the people, the process, and the technology, and to meet people where they are and bring them along. It is also considered self-awareness. You're understanding that you're not the center of the universe, that you're part of a greater whole. Emotional intelligence, people have put a lot of different kinds of weight on it, on how important it is. I can tell you, it's about as important as it gets. Why? Because it's how we started this. For all the technology that we cover ourselves with all the time, it's about the people. That's called emotional intelligence, EQ, the understanding of where other people are and for you to meet them as leaders. The last is minimal technical fluency. The ability to use all the tools at your disposal, whether it's a pick, it's a hammer, it's a shovel, it's a laptop, it's a Gen AI server, it's a spreadsheet, it's Tableau, it's Click, it's whatever. To be able to use the tools at your disposal so that you can be efficient in executing the 5 attributes. Does this make sense? I'm going to give you one more story. Then I'll pause. I'll be done at that point. So for me, I started to not only see those people who had that pattern of attribute like in them, and then I started to adopt it and started to get success. Then I started to build other people with it. And some of you have seen some of those folks. Some of you have met them. Across generations. I have people on my team who are in their mid-60s, people on the team who are in their early 20s. They all share the same 5 attributes and those 2 hitchhikers that enable it. All of them. So you see, it has absolutely nothing to do with experience at all. People will argue with me up one side and down the other. I guarantee not one of you will argue with me. I guarantee everybody who's about 40 years older than you will argue that point. It's not about experience. It is about expertise. Now you would say, Al, but I don't have a whole lot of expertise when I go outside the 4 walls of this fine institution. I got it. That's why you adopt this. Those 5 attributes, those 2 hitchhikers that join you, supercharge you the minute you go out the door. You are already running. Then with the ability to ask informed questions using intellectual curiosity and critical thinking, who, what, when, where, why, how. No matter how big or how small the task, the work stream, the project, the initiative you own as a soloist, no matter how small that is, you start to build trust in an organization. People will start to trust you because you are starting to deliver on the promise. As they trust you, you perform more, doing all the right things that you need to do. Your credibility grows. People start to notice you. They figure out your name. They figure, oh, you're the one who did to the good. You establish trust 1 day at a time. You take that trust, and by your performance, you build credibility. When you start to build credibility, you will find you are fit in an organization. People will want you on the team. Why? Because you have this unbounded energy and capability, and now you are starting to grow in terms of your expertise. At that point, you will see, as a result of doing the hard things, the grit, the soloist, and all that, when you start doing those hard things, gaining trust, gaining credibility through performance and starting to fit, your professional growth will accelerate. Just from doing all of these different things. Raise your hand for everything. 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 Give it a try. Hit it with the pick. And try again and try again. You have a question, a problem, an issue, then go get some help. But people will accept you if you make the effort and you commit an error, that's okay. If you choose not to try or you don't want to get involved, that is what we call errors of omission. People have no use for you out there. Zero, none. I certainly don't. But you commit the effort to it, now we can work with that. When you start doing those things, you will grow in terms of your knowledge, skill, ability. People notice that. Leadership notices it. Customers notice it. Vendors, peers, stakeholders. You will strangely find opportunity will come to you. Whatever that means to you professionally. You'll see it. And I can prove it. I have hundreds of proof points across generations of career. Please consider for yourself. I challenge you to take a self-imposed exercise, an inventory. Write it down. Soloist, team player, problem solver, communicator, grit. And ask yourself, are you those things? And if you're not, grow it. If you're not, come and see me. If you're 4 out of 5, I'm 409 in Brennan Hall. Come and see me. If you're 3 out of 5, be honest with yourself. Figure out how you can grow the other 2. Come and see me. If you're 2 out of 5, come and see me. Why? Why? Right? Why? Why? Because it's important. See, here's the thing to me, and I'll leave you with this. I don't know why I believe this. I don't, but I do. I don't know why I was compelled to come here, but I am. There's a lot of nice people here, by the way. I don't know you. I don't know you anything. I should be on some island somewhere, drinking a Mai Tai. Maybe a margarita. But I'm here. I want to help you because I believe, call it weird, call it whatever you want, that if the next generation does not do better than this generation or the generation before it, that generation has not failed. This generation and the ones before it have. I cannot let that happen. I don't sleep at night just thinking about it. You have to be successful. If you don't, it all falls apart anyway, doesn't it? Well, who wants that? Not me. Hell, you'll roll me down the steps like in another 10 years from now. Say, I'll beat it. I want you to be successful. I need you to be successful. I ask you to ask yourself where you fit in those 5 attributes. Take that inventory for yourself. Learn and grow. And whatever I can do to help you. I want to share last item for you. Those of you, please, and I know I've asked my students to do this. Those of you who are not my students, who are like the bring a friend, awesome. I'm trying very, very hard. I'm trying very, very hard. I started a loss leader company where I want to share knowledge and wisdom with you from a professional standpoint. You'll see 2 of my partners, Bridget and Jessica, on there, who are only a few years older than you, who combined, I think, are working on about $10 billion in projects right now and are respected internationally for their work. I ask you to check that out, especially on Instagram. Check it out. On YouTube is like the longer form stuff that we do. Academically, there's this class that I created a year ago that the university, as awesome as the university is, have allowed me to offer this to you. It's called Biz 384. I call it Career Ignition. And then there's the Consulting Club. So the way to solve business problems today is to listen, as you know, acknowledge, understand, follow up with good questions before you respond, and then deliver. If you want to learn that global skill from somebody who's done it once or twice, join in that consulting club. I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. I committed that to Andrew. The last thing that I'll say to you is, my commitment to you is serious. Students of mine know I can't stand when people are late. I can't stand 10 seconds late. It drives me insane. Why? Because I think being an hour early is better than being a second late, because it's respectful. I live in a town called Harleysville, Pennsylvania. If you haven't heard of it, it's because it is 100 miles from where we're standing right here, right now. Guess what? It's 100 miles back, too. About 500 or 600 miles a week, depending on how many times a week I come here. 2 hours. My last class ends at 9:30. I get home at midnight. Then I start answering emails. Start working on next week. 2 a.m., 2:30. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know why? You. That's why.